template, cutting around it like a pattern, and laying it down on a commercial domestic production model and saying, how do we duplicate that model? And the bottom line is that by only giving them a little bit, you can see they have about, what, 2.5 acres here today. There's a cross fence back behind them. So this evening, they'll move into another paddock. Every day about 4 o'clock, we move them into a fresh new paddock, a fresh new salad bar. That's why we call them salad bar beef. They get to graze that down. And so where they are right now has already been grazed twice this spring. This is the third grazing now this spring. We'll dump this compost on it, and then it'll recuperate and make hay in the summer, and then it'll come back and we'll graze it probably 2 more times as the season progresses. We call this mob stocking, herbivorous solar conversion, lignified carbon sequestration, fertilization. And if every farmer in North America would practice this model, it would sequester all the carbon that's been emitted since the beginning of the industrial age in fewer than 10 years. See, all of the demonization, criminalization, and marginalization of herbivores by the United Nations, WHO, and the Nature Conservancy, and World Watch Institute, and whatever, all the other radical environmental groups, is all predicated on an improper grazing model and or a grain-based herbivore production model. As soon as you start mimicking the way nature does this mobbing, moving, and moving, suddenly that herbivore becomes the most efficacious tool imaginable for sequestering carbon. Now, to show you the impact of this, in Augusta County, the average cow days per acre, a cow day is what 1 cow will eat in a day, like the amount of food you eat in one day is a person day, okay? So, a cow day is what 1 cow will eat in a day. In Augusta County, where we are, our average cow days per acre is 80. In other words, an acre of typical pasture here will support 80 cows for 1 day, or 1 cow for 80 days in a season, in a year. Are you with me? Here, for the last 10 years, we have averaged more than 400 cow days per acre every year. Okay? That's 5 times the county average. And people have the audacity to say, oh, this can't feed the world. You know, we lease these other farms, we go in with electric fencing and water line, and the first year, every single one of them, we double their production in the very first year. Okay, with electric fence and water line. Not fertilizer, not seeds, not tillage, not plants, not petroleum. Just by managing the stock to take advantage of this wonderful pruning and the verdant growth that occurs, like a viticulturalist would prune a vineyard or an orchardist would prune an orchard tree, but they don't prune it every day. See? So I'm the first one to repent in sackcloth and ashes for all the damage that herbivores have done around the world since civilization began. And they've done a pile of it. But don't blame the herbivore, blame the manager of the herbivore for not having the sense and the humility to look to nature's pattern for how to handle them domestically.